Hi friends, this will be another video of darkness, and this time we're sitting by the open window with my two cats and just listening to the evening sounds. And we're going to talk about emotional availability and what does it mean exactly. Because this week has been full of so many emotions for me. Of all kinds of ways and things happening with friends. And I thought, what is it to be emotionally available or unavailable? And I don't think it's something that we can draw a clear-cut line and say, oh, this person is emotionally available or this person is emotionally unavailable. To be available emotionally, to me, it would mean that you're open to feeling your feelings and other people's feelings. And to be unavailable, it would mean that you're closed off to feeling your feelings and consequently other people's feelings. And that does not have to mean all feelings, but it could be certain feelings that you're uncomfortable with. So you're available for some and unavailable for others. And the way we grow and mature emotionally is when we open ourselves more to feeling certain feelings. And a lot of times that happens through certain experiences in life that happen unexpectedly and open us up, usually unpleasant experiences, what we call like the loss of a loved one or sudden loss of a job or a certain living situation, sickness, illness. And to me, when you people have gone through a certain experience that was traumatic in a way and have felt their feelings and have overcome it, then if another person is in that situation, they can feel for them, which is empathy, and they can be emotionally available for that person. But if they have not gone through that experience and those feelings are making them uncomfortable, they could be likely to suppress and repress them and not be able to emotionally be there for the person because they're not able to be there emotionally for themselves. So it all begins with self, as always. And a lot of times the emotions that we're open to or closed off to are the same emotions that our parents are open to or closed off to. Let's say you have had a parent that was very uncomfortable with feeling embarrassment or uncomfortable with feeling their pain and expressing it in a healthy way. So when you felt embarrassed, they couldn't guide you through because they didn't want to feel that emotion at all. So they pretended like you don't feel it and couldn't join you there in the experience. And you felt, well, it's bad for me to feel like that because my parent doesn't like it. They don't acknowledge it. It's like, maybe I don't feel like that. And you couldn't make sense of it. Or the other thing could be that they shamed and guilted you for it. I just saw a guy at the parking lot wearing a shirt saying, pain is weakness. So if you felt pain, you could have been told like, oh, it's nothing, forget about it, and not being given that space to fully process it in a healthy way. So if we trace that back, we can see that really like what we're available and unavailable for, to a large extent, is passed down to us from our parents. And then throughout life, hopefully, we open up more to feel and be informed by our emotions versus closing off more. And ways of closing off and avoiding and suppressing and repressing would be this constant search for more and something outside of ourselves to soothe ourselves, whether it is with work, with shopping, with some kind of addiction like video games, social media, porn, sex, anything, like any hobby that we're just obsessed with, even fantasy, even spirituality or self improvement or any of that stuff that we use as a way to not fully feel. And to me, I found that a healthy way to feel my feelings has been to feel my feelings. And even when they seem overwhelming, to simply be present and sit with the feeling. And art has definitely been an outlet for me to express it, because sometimes I cannot make sense of it, and sometimes it could be a lot of mixed emotions or very intense emotions. Or to share it with somebody that has gone through a similar experience, and somebody that is consistently emotionally available to me, that I feel would be able to understand and join me there. For example, like when I lost a really good friend and somebody that I loved very much, I was able to grieve that on my own and through making art, but also with another friend who was also great friends with that friend. And we could just grieve together because he knew exactly what I was feeling, because he was feeling the same thing, like the loss and the love that we didn't get to express. So that's why it's beautiful to share and know that we're not alone in the feeling, whatever it is. And if we share it with the right person, then it somehow dissipates or it's not so strong. And we feel like, oh, wait, there's somebody else that also has felt that feeling, and they can join me there, and I'm not so scared and alone. And even when it comes to positive feelings, some people are uncomfortable with positive feelings when they are too strong. And again, that could have been that when you were a child and you were expressing joy and your exuberance and excitement from life, your parents were dealing with their own things, and it was just too much for them, and they shut you down and off and were saying, oh, quit being so loud, or whatever, if they were in a funk. And then you assume that, well, they don't like me when I'm really, really happy. It bothers them, so I shouldn't be that happy. And then another facet is that, let's say we have this emotional scale, and if we're somewhere right in the middle and we feel just a little bit, then we're kind of like lukewarm. I can feel a little bit of pain and I can feel a little bit of love, but if I go more in one direction, then I have to go more in the other direction, and I'm not comfortable with that. So in order to feel a lot of love, we have to also be open to feeling a lot of pain, and that goes hand in hand with attachment. Sometimes people are afraid to feel a lot of love for somebody or something, because when we lose that somebody or something, it hurts so much. So as a self-preservation mechanism, we can say, well, I don't ever want to get that attached to somebody or something, because when I lose it, it would hurt so much. So I'd rather not invest that much. So when I lose it, it's not going to hurt that much. But is that really living? And then yet another facet of this whole thing is that we are bound to experience all kinds of emotions all the time. So it cannot be just ups. Of course, there's gonna be downs, and we need the downs so we could have the ups. In the same way, we have day and night, and everything has its opposite. So if we're not open to feeling, and we try to create a life where I'm just comfortable with certain feelings to a certain extent, and that's that, and everything else I suppress and repress, then it's kind of a rather monotonous existence. And the more open we are, the more we're bound to go from one thing to the other. And let's say you see somebody that is in pain, or a friend of yours is going through a loss, and you can join them in that feeling, and for a moment feel that profound sadness and grief. And then in the same day, you can have another friend that has just had something wonderful happen to them, and you can go into this really high of like, congratulations, I'm so happy for you, this is such a wonderful thing. And we could have these things happen to us all the time, like something really bad can happen and something really good can happen. And to be able to flow from one to the other, knowing that you're not these feelings, you are the soul experiencing them in this body. And that's what you came here for that experience, for things to not be monotonous, but for the excitement of it. And when you're aware that it's all like a dream and a movie, you can fully immerse yourself in it, knowing that everything is as it should, and we need all of it together. And we're here to feel. But we can learn to not get too carried away and be informed by that feeling. Let's say something happens and it feels a little off to you and you don't like it so much. And then immediately you can go into like, okay, what is the opposite of this thing? What is the feeling I would like to foster? And then transition into that feeling. And this is how you learn to navigate the dream and select your preferences. And that's where it gets a little more layered and intricate and interesting. And the more you think about things you love and feel the feelings of love and joy and excitement, the more you raise your vibration, and you are met by experiences that enhance those feelings. So it becomes more a matter of truly like feeling and being in the moment and being alive. And when we have feelings that are uncomfortable or unpleasant, if we fully feel them, they pass through, and then we can again feel like wonderful and excited and exuberant. And that gives us that chance to appreciate that wonderful feeling. Because if it was wonderful all the time, you wouldn't even know it's wonderful all the time, right? So again, to me, emotional availability or unavailability, it's not some clear-cut distinction. It's just, to what extent are we open to what kinds of feelings? And can we feel everything? But fully feel it in the moment as it's happening, be informed by the feeling. And if we can fully feel it, it goes away on its own. And that is the experience of being fully alive in this body. I'll be curious to know if you have some comments and thoughts on this, and what you do with your feelings and how you feel them, and to what extent, and how many feelings are you familiar with. Thank you.